without further ado, I did want to do this live video and just kind of go back to some basics and talk about my 8 steps to digital marketing. I know I say this often, but people that are new and maybe scared, or people that have started business and they're not seeing the success that they want, they're frustrated. The biggest thing that I see that cause people to fail or get burnt out and want to quit is that they are trying to do too many things at one time. They're trying to do too many steps at one time, or they're being taught incorrectly and there's steps that they're skipping. Like, they're important things they're not doing that maybe they don't feel is as important as people tell them they are, or they just want to like rush it and get to the money making and stuff. And what people don't understand is if you don't have that solid foundation from those steps you might be skipping, you're going to crumble. Okay. You may see some short-term success or have a post that's really good and get you some sales, but in the long term, the longevity of your business, you've got to have that foundation. You've got to have, locked in branding. You've got to have, a locked in time that you are learning, so that when you do go to make posts and talk about things and engage with people, you have a confidence with your knowledge. And then, the probably most important thing, branding's pretty important, but your engagement, the time that you're spending just serving in your community where your target audience is, to build your reputation and associate that value and education and knowledge with your name, so that when you do start selling, people have that trust with you, people have that warmth with you, and it's just like an automatic thing, So a lot of people skip steps like that, or they don't do the steps as in depth as they should be, or they don't take long enough to do the engagement, or they work on branding, but they just pick out a few colors and a logo and think that they're done. Like, there's so much more behind those things. And then again, like I said, the other big one is just people trying to do too much at one time. When I started my journey way back at the last week of April, before I ever did anything, before I decided what social media I was going to be on, what I wanted to do, set up my store, launch a social media, like any of that, all I did was learn. Like I was in college. I had a notebook. I was taking notes. I like to take notes though. I'm a note taker. I was kind of a nerd in school. I love to learn. I just took notes. Learned. Even now, like, I go through DBA modules that have been updated. I go through, I'll buy products and things like that from people that are in my following. Somebody comes out with something, like when Threads was a thing, I've read and learned about that. I've read and learned about, stuff with Reddit, learned in 24 hours. That was not the place for me. Anywho daisies. My point is that, even when you get to a point where you've reached your level of success and what you find to be success, and you've got a stable income each month, okay, and you're just doing the dang thing, you still want to keep learning. You still want to keep educating yourself. It's kind of like, cosmetology. Fun fact, I went to beauty school for a few months and then dropped out, 11, 12 years ago now. If somebody goes to cosmetology school, let's say they went and, they got their license in the 90s. All right. Are they just going to practice and work and cut and color and do all the things they learned in the 90s, like now, 30 years later? Oh my gosh, the 90s was 30 years ago? That's crazy. No, the good stylist, the stylists that make good money, they're staying up to date on practices. They have beauty seminars you can go to and learn the next cutting edge design and the trends, and they're constantly learning and constantly evolving, and some things stick and work well, some don't, and that's okay. That's part of business. That's part of evolving as a businesswoman, as a person. You know what I mean? Same thing with digital marketing. There's always going to be the next new app that people are going to market on and learn and stuff, look at Lemonade. There's Lemonade guides, and I've never even been into Lemonade. I've never downloaded it, been into it. But I don't know when I'm going to wake up and there's a new app that's just booming. Threads was one of those things, and I need to get back to Threads, but I just, Facebook is my home base, guys. You all know that. So yeah, just learn. Don't do anything before you learn. And you don't need to learn to a point where you know everything, but just to have some general knowledge in how to market, how to talk to people confidently about how to market, so that if you go into Facebook and you're scrolling through your timeline and you see some of the same questions keep coming up from people. How do I do this? What does this mean? What do I do when this happens? Get to a point in your learning where you can go and start answering questions like that, or have conversations with people about marketing, even though you haven't started yet, okay? But you're starting to implement these things and share your value and education, and just share your journey transparently. Show up as yourself, right? And there are going to be some things that stump you in the beginning, and that's okay. And you just be forthcoming and honest about that. But just learn to a point where you feel mostly confident that you can have a conversation with somebody in the DMs without selling. This is not about, oh, I want you to learn enough so that I can sell. Learn what marketing is, how to do it, what's effective, what works for you, why it works for you, how to give people guidance on where to go. You know what I mean? And that's when you can move on to step 2, is once you have some confidence and being able to have and hold a conversation with somebody, being able to go and make valuable post on, or valuable comments on post, and not just, oh, I love this, great information, or heart emojis, and you know, you're putting something in there that's going to catch other people who didn't write the post, you know, or maybe have a comment you reply to. Other people, there's always lurkers. There's always silent watchers who don't react to posts, don't comment on posts. They're just going through and getting information, and they're going to keep seeing you show up in these comments. And instead of having like great posts, like people aren't going to remember you from writing something like that, but you've got like a couple sentences in there, like going off of what they're saying, or, you know, answering a question, and people are going to like your valuable responses. Hey, Nelly. They're going to like your valuable responses and be like, dang, she knows what she's talking about. She sounds confident. Like, she's got the metrics to back it up, you know? And so you get sales. You're using your following. You're using your, you know, your reach on your post on Facebook. You're using the amount of reactions you're getting, the amount of comments and engagement you're getting on your educational post, and you're using that as your credibility rather than sales, right? The other part of step 1 also, guys, is staying organized. If you know you're like, okay, I want to jump into this business stuff, be as organized as you can be from the start. Now, I know that seems more complex because you're like, well, I don't know what I'm organizing yet, because I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing and what's going where, what papers and things I'm going to have to organize, right? I have 2 business binders. I have multiple notebooks, but I have one notebook where it is just for learning. So like the past 2 days, for example, I've been really diving into updated modules in DBA, and that notebook is where I take my notes. Then I have another notebook that is for more off the wall things. If I'm writing out, you know, like a policy, if I'm writing out ideas for something, like keywords, that's just for like any and everything. But then I have that one notebook that is designated for learning, just learning. Okay. Then I'm a planner girly. Okay. I know a lot of people sell digital planners. Even if I buy a digital planner, I end up printing out the sheets I want and putting them in a binder somewhere, because I have to write things down. In my 2 business binders, I have, you know, things categorized. So like I have a tab for branding. I have a tab for, you know, store stuff. So like policies, promo codes, things like that. This sun is like making me hot. So physical organization. Okay. I am a physical planner girly. I just went to Walgreens 2 weeks ago, and I found this amazing planner. I've never seen a planner like this in my life. So it's one of those, like weekly planners. My vent was turned off. So it was one of those weekly planners. And it's a trifold. So like you've got your weekly memo pad thing, right? Where it's got like your boxes for your days. It's got, you know, top focus, whatever. And then you open the sides, and each side is a memo to-do pad. And let me tell you why this is genius. And it works for me because y'all know I am so huge on having your daily to-do list. Not waking up in the morning and trying to spontaneously think like, what do I need to get done today? Because like nobody can do that every single day and be productive. I'm saying have your daily, if I know there's some of you in here that have that daily to-do list. What things have to get done on your business every day? Educational post, promo post, reactions to stories, making stories. I can't remember off the top of my head everything on there, but those are your things. Every day you get up, you do those first. And then guess what? On those little memo pads that are out here to the side, that is my project list. That is my project to-do list. So if I need to go and update my freebie, if I need to work on my email marketing, if I need to work on a product that I'm wanting to launch by a certain time, all of that stuff gets put on that list so that when I'm done with my daily to-do list for the day, I go into my project list and I skim through there and see, okay, what do I want to work on now? Genius. Freaking genius. Organization. Okay. Other organization, just keeping it real brief, keep the gallery in your phone organized. Have a folder in your media for B-roll content, testimonials, story content, videos you want to use for Instagram reels or reels on Facebook, whatever. Like, keep your folders as organized as you can. I even have a folder for like 60-second or under videos that I have not used. It's just called not used. And then once I go and use those for the day for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, I go and put them in a folder called used, because I want to keep those videos. I can reuse them for stories and repurpose them, but I know that I've already posted it. And so I don't want to get in a cycle of posting the same things, if that makes sense. So organize your media on your phone. And Canva. A lot of people on Canva, like, their Canva becomes a big jumbled thing, because as you grow, you're going to buy other done for you products and things that you may want to offer or things you want to tweak and make your own and work on. Keep your Canva folders organized. You know, have a folder for journals, one for ebooks. You know, include the niche if you need to. Maybe it is digital marketing ebooks, homeschooling ebooks, planners, journals. If you have a folder for things in your branding, like your logo. That was my Canva for a long time, because I wasn't perfect, and that's why I learn and I tell and teach you guys. Like, my Canva was crazy, because one of the first products I bought ever was my Ultimate Canva Vault. It's got over 300 done for you products, and I had to end up taking a day to just organize all of that and put planners and planners and ebooks, and like, it was crazy. And that's why I'm telling you guys, like, if you do this from the beginning and just stay as organized as you can, that's going to help you so much. You know, clear out things you don't need in your media while you can, so that, you know, you prevent storage overload. But yeah, step one, learn and stay organized. Thank you, Missy. Okay, so decide what social media platform you want to market on. A lot of people get tripped up on this as well. When I started my journey, I started an account on the platforms people told me to. Instagram and TikTok. My first full month, I focused on those platforms. A lot of people think, which makes sense, where should I market on where I'm going to make the most money? Where I'm going to reach the most people? I understand that line of thinking. I'm not saying don't completely do that. You know, for example, if you have an older audience, you're not necessarily going to want to be on Instagram. There's not a lot of older people on Instagram. They exist, but you have to think of things with your target audience and what platform they may be on. Okay. I think, in my opinion, people that are starting and deciding where they want to be with their social media, when you're starting out, first of all, pick one platform, because you are just now getting your feet wet. You're just learning marketing. You don't need to start and throw yourself into 2, 3, 4, 5 different platforms to market on. Literally pick one. Pick one to master. When you have it mastered and you've got your schedule down and you've got a pace, a steady rhythm going, then go and make an Instagram, then go and make, you know, a TikTok and whatever. I started purely marketing on Facebook in June. I just now relaunched an Instagram page and a TikTok, because I have a steady pace going with my Facebook. I know what I'm doing on there. Like, I've got that down pat. Now I can go and dabble into some other stuff. My advice when it comes to picking social media that you want to be on is to choose the platform that you are already the most comfortable on. What social media are you on? Because most of us are on something. What social media are you on the most that you feel like you know like the back of your hand, or that you know the most about? Okay. So you might feel like, oh, I need to be on Instagram because everybody's on Instagram. I know Facebook like the back of my hand. I've known Facebook like the back of my hand since before I started this business. Like, Facebook has always been my jam. And guess what? That is where I've seen the most success. I do think that Facebook has a lot of perks that other places don't. I'm always going to recommend Facebook to people. But there's people that I teach Facebook to, they don't do a lot on Facebook, and they're most comfortable on Instagram. And they're most likely going to do better over there because they know the functionalities. They understand the algorithm. It's second nature to them. rather than trying to learn a whole new social media platform while you're learning marketing, while you're trying to find your people. Like, pick something you're most comfortable on, master that, and then start getting into other things. The other part of that as well is people, if you pick something social media wise, let's say you start a TikTok and you start doing this for 3, 4, some of you 6 months, and you're like, I'm not seeing sales, I'm not seeing the growth that I want, I'm not seeing this, this, and this. Pivot where you're marketing. You know, if Facebook isn't working for you, try Instagram. If TikTok isn't working for you, try Facebook. You know, something along those lines, before you start getting into 2 or more platforms that you're marketing on. Step 3. Let's see if I can get to step 3. Oh, step 2. You're going to launch, okay? You're going to launch your social media. You're going to keep it super basic, super simple, okay? I think the step that's before this in my official steps is branding. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be step 3 on the pinned post. But, you're going to launch, but you're going to keep it super simple. Okay. Don't focus too much on, you know, your profile picture, these are things that are important, but we're just launching. Okay. Thank you, Missy. So, you know, your bio, you know, your pinned post, if it's on Facebook or whatever other platform, don't focus too much on those things. Just get the page up and running. Okay. You know, do you want to have a business name? Do you want to have, you know, your personal name? Up until these past couple of weeks, guys, I didn't really have a business name. I didn't brand with a business name. My name was my brand. People would go in and recommend me and tag me in things. Even on Threads, this blew my mind one day when I was really working and building my reputation. Guys, I just literally put this coffee in my other coffee from this morning. That is how hype I get when I talk to you guys. What is wrong with me? So even on Threads, okay, because I don't have a business name, like, people would be like sharing my tips and stuff like that, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, like, I love Amanda, I love her, da, 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 da. And I'm just like, what? So like, a lot of people get hung up on like, oh, a business name or a logo. I've never had or used a logo. There are ways you can incorporate branding, colors and fonts and ethics and the in-depth things about branding without having to be so businessy and professional, because we want to have some warmth, we want to have some relatability. And when you're purely focused on presenting yourself as a complete total business with a logo and you know, clean cut graphics, and there's no characteristics, there's no like, hopefully you guys get what I'm trying to say. Like, there's no like imperfections to see, to be like, oh, this is a fellow human that I'm speaking to, you know. Don't want to come off corporate, and some people may want to, and that's fine, but you're not going to reach people the same. So yeah, and that ties into a lot with like trust and things like that as well. Step 3 is branding. So that's even before you're posting anything, you're engaging with anybody. I mean, you can do that, but I really want you guys going step by step, trying to do one thing at a time as much as you can, because a huge part in the beginning is people just getting overwhelmed and they quit. So trying to be as intentional as you can with your time is going to help prevent that. Is it still going to be overwhelming? Yes. Are you still going to feel like there's so much information going on in your head? Yes. These past couple days, guys, or last week, I launched my Instagram and my TikTok. It's been so long since I've been on Instagram. Hey, Barb, good morning. It's been so long because I've been so focused on Facebook, guys, that I've been on Instagram. There's so much I learned in the beginning about Instagram marketing that is just not there anymore. And guys, like, I am just not an Instagram girly. I'm doing my best. I'm going to keep learning. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to learn. I'm going to adapt. Instagram will never be my Facebook for me, but I'm not going to give up. Okay. But with all the learning I've done, all the changes I've been trying to make, all of the new steps that I'm trying to put in my to-do list with 3 platforms now, I go to bed at night, guys, and like, I have a headache. Like, my head's throbbing, my head's spinning. Okay. And I'm not saying work yourself to that point, but I still go through that when I make changes or I go to learn something new to what you guys are feeling in the beginning. So, you know, this process has been to try to keep it as underwhelming as possible for you guys, because even when you're doing it step by step and being intentional with your time, it can still be overwhelming. And I'm trying to make it as calm and easy as I can for you guys so that you don't give up and you keep pushing yourself, so that you get to a point where you can do this. And, you know, later down the road, it does become less work. It does become less stressful. But you're getting more of what you're putting out than in the beginning, if that makes sense. So step 3 is branding. I don't want to dive too much into branding because I've covered this so much in my mentorship group. I also have 2 or 3 like full videos on branding on my YouTube. So if you really need to know in depth about branding or figure out branding, like go to my YouTube channel. That is in my Stan Store as well. There's a little YouTube icon under my picture. Go watch the branding videos. They're super, super duper in depth. Branding is huge. Like I said, I don't want to stay on this for too long, but branding, you know, branding would be the reason that Nelly has said this before, but she can read a post and not see my name or picture associated with it, and she knows that I wrote it. Okay, so that's the tone in my branding. That is my voice in my branding, that people can be like, oh, that sounds like Amanda wrote it. Okay. Branding colors and the way that you incorporate that with branding fonts. And it's not that it has to be a specific font, but do you use like an old school timey font? Do you use some type of scripture cursive font? Do you use a very feminine font? Do you use, just a very modern, clean font? Like, what fonts are you using where somebody could see it in a graphic with your colors that are your branding colors and be like, oh, that's so-and-so. So the goal is that you post, you know, a written post or an infographic, a video, and the format or something that people know it's yours without seeing your name or your profile picture. And then the other part of branding, the deeper parts, like, you know, ethics and morals, what are your business values, is a lot to do with like trust, you know, and not just saying, oh, one of my business values is quality. Okay. But you have to back that up in your actions. Okay. And that gets pretty deep. One of mine is quality. Okay. But I'm not just saying, oh, one of my values is, you know, quality in my business, but then I just go and stick any and every product in my store that has typos and doesn't look aesthetic and that doesn't have font that's readable. Like, and then people will be like, huh? How is quality her business value? Like, doesn't make sense with my actions, you know? You guys understand that if I ever present a product of mine or even recommend somebody else's product, I have to make sure it is quality first, or it does not get presented to you guys because it doesn't align with my business values. Branding is way deeper than just colors and fonts and, your branding voice, how you speak, how you write, how you storytell, what your brand story is. Okay. Every single one of you watching this, whether it's right now or whether it's on the replay, you have some relatability in your life, even if you think you're boring, that you can use and put in your brand story. It doesn't have to be like, I climbed 8 mountains and, you know, had cancer and beat it. And like, you don't have to have these crazy big things that have happened in your life. Some people don't resonate with that. Some people resonate with the people who are homebodies and they don't like to leave their house and they read 2 books a day and, you know, like to drink hot green tea and like, you know, small little things like that. Every single one of you have something relatable that you can use and have for a brand story. And it doesn't have to be, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I help women teach women how to make money online. Like, it doesn't have to be that. Like, get specific, get to your quirky side of yourself. You know what I mean? We'll leave that for step 3. Step 4, let me see if it'll let me scroll unless somebody puts it, and that would be amazing. So step 4 and I think 5. Yep. My phone says cooling down, guys. So hopefully it stays with me. So step 4 is launch your store. I believe step 5 is engagement. Okay. So these 2 steps you can kind of do simultaneously. Ideally, after you are done with branding, I want you guys to start engaging. I want you guys to start getting some visibility in communities. Obviously you're going to do your work with like target audience and branding. So you're working and putting work in for target audience and your branding. A lot of people get hung up on target audience as well. Kid you not, guys. So yesterday I had my first coaching call with Stan Store. As you guys know, I just became an ambassador. It's official. I've done all my steps I need to do. So you guys will be seeing me talk about Stan Store in a non-spammy way. I'm just literally going to tell you guys why I like it. If anybody hasn't created a store or they're looking to switch from Beacons or something else to Stan Store, please reach out and let me know so I can give you my referral link, because that's just going to help me in my ambassador program. So you get 2 weeks free if you use my referral link. Anyways, so in the coaching call, we were talking about something to do with target audience. I think we were talking about my Instagram bio. And I gave him a tip that blew his mind. And he was coaching me. Okay, don't get me wrong. I had plenty to learn, especially with Instagram and things to fix on that. But I gave him a tip and he was like, you know, if somebody were to come up to you in a cafe and be like, oh my gosh, you're official marketing with Mandy. Like, I've seen your, you know, a couple of your reels. Like, what is it really that exactly that you do? How would you answer that question? Who are you marketing to? And I was like, you know, I heard this somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but I tell people when it comes to target audience, your target audience is you when you started. What were your hesitations in the beginning? What had you wanting to start a business? And not just, I want to make more money. I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to get out of debt. Ask yourself, why do I want to make more money? Oh, I want to be able to live comfortably. Why do you want to live comfortably? What is that going to do for you? Get to that root. Get to the root of your why. That is your target audience. So, anywho, I want you guys after branding to really start to do engagement. Okay, we're going back to that learning step. What have you learned? What are you wanting to do in your journey? Talk about your why, talk about your brand story, talk about things and topics you're seeing in communities and whether you agree with them or don't and why. Just start posting educational posts. Start going and being in as many comments of posts as you can where you can leave valuable tips. Don't be that person that's just like, oh, welcome to the group. Oh, I love this post. If that is the only post you're finding that you can comment on, you need to either go back to that learning step and start learning a little bit more, or you're only commenting on those posts, and so the algorithm is only bringing you posts like that you can respond to, and you need to start looking, like literally going into quality groups and finding posts, asking questions you can give valuable comments to. And the more you comment on posts like that, the more the algorithm is going to bring that stuff to you to comment on. And you're going to do that in that engagement phase for a few weeks, okay? Not for a weekend. A week would really be pushing it. I think people need more time than that, because you need to be to a point where people are familiar with who you are. And again, like we said earlier in this live, they associate your name with posts that are valuable and educational and down to earth or helpful or, you know, proactive or whatever, you know, they associate that. So the goal is, you know, people associate those things based on your posts, based on your comments and how often they're seeing you in the comments. Okay. You doing that engagement phase and only commenting on posts for an hour, 2 days out of the week, that's not going to be enough. You have to do it every day. Maybe take a day off, you know, maybe take the weekend off, but Monday through Friday, every day you're doing that. Every day. And you're setting a timer and you're being intentional. So you're taking 30 minutes to 2-3 hours. And in that time, no matter what message you receive, no matter what post you see, no matter what idea you get in your head, you are only engaging in that time every day. And that way, when you do get to sales and you do start selling, they're like, oh, I have a trust with this person. This person feels familiar. I don't know why. It's because of how you showed up and you did your post and your engagement. But in that process, go ahead and start setting up your store. Like I said, I'm a Stan girly, and I'm not just a Stan girly because I'm an ambassador and, you know, I have a referral link. I've been saying that I love Stan Store before I was an ambassador for them. Okay. I've worked with Beacons. Y'all know I did just make a new Beacons to get an affiliate link to you guys. It still made me want to beat my head against the wall. Beacons isn't awful. It is just not the most user-friendly in my opinion. And maybe that sounds dumb to some people. And I know a lot of people have Beacons, and maybe if I were to spend more time on it, it would be better. But Stan Store is just so quick, plug and play. Like, if there's a book that has a typo that I need to go and fix something in, I can get it done in under 5 minutes. Just go and fix, save. Like, It's so easy. It's so easy. It's so easy to teach. Beacons, me and Beacons got beef, okay? Figure out what platform you want for your store, and start working on your store. Make it aesthetic, use your branding colors, have a good captivating bio, start looking around and trying to find gaps in the market. And what I mean by that, once you start being more active in the communities where your target audience is, you're going to start to see some reoccurring pain points that are getting brought up. Oh, my reels aren't, they're never getting over 200 views. Oh, I'm sick of posting video content, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know how to get sales when I started digital marketing. You're going to start seeing the same things being talked about either in the posts where people are asking questions, or make a habit of going into comments and reading comments. Read the comments that have a bunch of likes. That means people are agreeing with what they're saying, okay? Maybe somebody is asking about where to have their store, and somebody comments oh, I love Stan Store because it's so user-friendly, and 25 people like that comment. It's going to show you what's going on, what people are feeling, what they're thinking, what their pain points are, and it's going to show you daily, if you get in the practice of being observant, what does your audience need a solution for, and are you seeing anybody in the community offer products for that? And even if they are offering products for it, are they good quality products? Or is it just a quick guide somebody put and threw together that people are not really getting value out of? Maybe you can make a better product and offer it to them. But, get a feel for finding and filling gaps in the market with your products, things that you feel align with your brand, and products that you know in and out. So whether you create and make the products, or you go and get done for you products while you work on your own products. Maybe you never build your own product at all and you only use done for you products. Quality check them. Okay? Proof read them. All the time. Always. Every time. Check the formatting. Put your brand colors in there. Check the hyperlinks. Okay? Make sure you know these products you're sticking in your store inside and out. So if somebody wants to have a conversation about it, if somebody wants to know how it's going to benefit and help them, you can answer those questions. And you're not just oh crap, I don't know what to say because I just put this in my store because everybody was selling it and saying they were getting sales from it. You need to know that product. You need to believe in that product. You need to believe that people need that product and that they will get value from it. That's going to make selling easier for you as well, because you're not selling the product to them. They're already sold on the product. You're just providing it to them because you have it. Have titles for all your products, have subtitles for all your products, have descriptions in your products. Okay. Proofread them. You can use ChatGPT for ideas for this stuff. You can put images in your descriptions. You can put, intro videos where you talk about it for 30 seconds in your description. There's so much you can do. Just start playing around and working on your store. You don't have to launch your store yet, and don't rush it. But once you are done with your store and you're still, let's say, in that engagement phase, you can go and stick your store link in your bio, but you're not providing it to people because you're not selling yet. But people might see your value and be like, let me go check out their profile. I like what she talks about. And then they go into your store and you might get a sale that way. It's happened. So that's step 4 and 5. Step 6. Step 6 is going to be your lead magnet, aka your freebie, email marketing, and your low ticket offers. This is where we start dabbling in the selling world. Okay. Everybody needs a lead magnet. Why? A lead magnet, for one, I've been saying this more often recently. I don't feel like a lot of people understand. A freebie is still transactional. A freebie is still a transaction. Although it is free and they're not necessarily paying money for it, they are exchanging information generally for your freebie, for your product. There are some people who don't like to do their lead magnets in a manner where they give away a product and then somebody sign up on their email list. Some people like to just outright say, hey guys, go and sign up to be on my email list and you'll get newsletters every week for me giving you free information. Or, you're going to get emails from me X amount of times a week, and we'll be talking about this, this, and this, because you're not selling in every email. You're giving value, you're nurturing and keeping your audience warm. Okay. The warmer you keep your audience, the more likely they are to buy from you. There are different ways that you can go about it as well. It's really what works best for you. But the point is that you want to be building a leads list. Even if you're not starting email marketing, I didn't start email marketing in the very beginning right away. It took me a few months. I don't know why. I was in my head about email marketing. But even though I wasn't there yet, I was still building a leads list, because eventually you are going to want to be able to have that leads list to communicate with. Also, if let's say you're purely focused on TikTok and the TikTok ban happens, how are you going to communicate with your customers if you don't have a leads list? If you don't have them and their contact information on a list, okay? If, you're on Instagram, let's say you're focused on Instagram and they're glitching and they're out for a couple days. I think that was a thing last year, 2 years ago, where Facebook and Instagram just were down and they were not working for anybody. How are you going to communicate with your customers? Your leads list, okay? Also, when you're communicating with your customers in email marketing, you don't have to worry about anything with an algorithm. You're just straight communicating with them, okay? Leads list, super important, a lead magnet. All right, secondly, with low ticket offers, do not be that person that says, okay, I'm going to buy a course, or I'm going to buy DBA, I'm going to buy UBC. That's the only thing in your store. And then you're like, why is nobody buying this couple $100 item from me? You have to have low ticket items. You have to have low ticket, mid ticket, and high ticket items. Maybe you don't want to mess around with courses at all. That's fine. Your high ticket item could be a bundle of things you offer. Maybe you only sell planners to people. Put together a bundle of, the ultimate planner bundle for moms, or for, the traveler, or, whatever. Okay. And make a bundle. But you want to have, so your first transaction with a customer typically is that lead magnet, because they're exchanging that information. Okay. It is still transactional. The low ticket offer, you want it to be priced, in my opinion, anywhere from $1 to $10. Ideally $1 to $5. Something where after they do that exchange of information with you, it's an amount that they don't mind throwing away if your product is garbage. Okay. But it gives them an expectation of what it's like to purchase and buy something from you, and what quality and what value they're going to get out of that. It's not going to be a couple $100 course. It could be, that'd be super rare. If I came on here for a couple months and gave you guys the value I give you now, maybe you would buy a couple $100 course from me. I don't know. But, people are very attached to their money and where their money is going. So it needs to be a price that is, I don't mind wasting $3 if this guide I buy or book I buy is garbage. Okay. But then here's the thing, is that you're going to have a good, valuable product that is quality because you follow me, for one. And they're going to spend that $3 and be like, holy crap, I just bought this $3 product and it had this, this, and this in it. Yeah, let me go see what else they had. If I bought a $3 product from them that was that good, what does their $30 product have? Or, oh, I've been thinking about buying DBA or UBC. Like, yeah, let me go buy it from this person, because they know what they're talking about, and like they are standing on their business branding and foundation, So start with the low ticket items. Okay. And then even from low ticket, don't go from low ticket and rush all the way to low. Oh, you bought this. Cool. Let me throw you my $300 course. You need to, in between those steps of, freebie, low ticket, mid ticket, high ticket, in between those steps, you need to be nurturing your audience, checking in with them, seeing if they have any hurdles, sending emails to check on their progress, giving away more freebies. That's one thing I learned recently that I never thought of, is most people get people to sign up on their email list with a freebie, right? Why can you not ever give them another freebie? Hey guys, I'm just sending out this free blah, 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 whatever, to show you guys that I appreciate you. I was talking to one of my business friends the other day, and she'll like do those preloaded Starbucks cards and send out a copy of that to all of her email subscribers and be like, copy on me today. Not saying you got to do that and spend money like that, but just like ways to think outside the box. You can nurture your audience and like, hey, I care. Let me check in on you. Let me give you this free tip. Let me give you you know, this free book about email marketing templates or something like that. Keep your audience warm. Because if you get that lead, you know, and you get that person on your email list, and the only time they're seeing emails from you is when you're selling. I used to do that because I didn't really know how to nurture my audience in email marketing, which doesn't make sense because I can do it on Facebook. But email marketing just always tripped me up for some reason. I don't know why. So that's kind of like the basics of the sales part. I do have a lot more in-depth stuff like on my YouTube and in the mentorship group. And the last couple of steps, honestly, guys, is really just scaling your business and networking with other people. As you keep engaging and showing value, you are going to have people that approach you that want you to be like a leader in their group. They want to collab with you. They want to do projects with you, maybe start a group with you. People are going to come to you with opportunities, you know. Don't get super excited and say yes to everything right away. Really try to think with a business smart mindset of, you know, do you trust this person? You know, if you were to do a collab or do something with them in a worst case scenario, what would be the downfall? What would be the cons of it? And could you afford to do that? Could you afford to take that loss of whatever it is? Like, be smart about the moves you're making. If you guys are looking to get into something, buy a product, if somebody presents an opportunity to you and you feel kind of unsure about it, you can always come and talk to me. Yeah, just collaborating, networking, building. I have 3 groups now that I am an admin and on Facebook for. One of them I'm a co-admin, but the other 2 I completely own. I'm a moderator in like 8 to 10 groups. Those are groups that I can promo in every single day without paying for promo. You know, I've got about 120 people in my mentorship group. That's insane. It doesn't sound like much, but like, that's a lot of people. Like, and they're there just to like learn from me. Like, that's amazing. And of course there is always more to everything we talk about. You know, understand in business that there's never going to be one code to crack where you get up and do the same thing every day, and it's always going to make you money. You can, you know, have a set thing that you do. Like, I have my set daily to-do schedule that I do. Some days are really good. Some days aren't. Some days I go into booming, good quality groups and there's really not a lot to engage with. And I feel like I really have to like search for things to engage with to give value. Other days, it's like every other post I can put value in and it's getting me likes and people are following me. Like, it depends. As with business, there's always going to be turning points. There's always going to be seasons of lows and seasons of highs and then seasons of middle stability, right? You know, there's months where I have a couple weeks that I'm just not pulling sales like I feel like I should be, and it gets a little discouraging, but you got to get right back into mindset and still show up every day and do the same thing anyways and not give up. And those of you who keep pushing, even after weeks and or months of not getting what you feel like you should be getting, but you keep pushing anyways, those are the people who are going to have longevity in their business. And if you are trying something for months and months and months, try something else. Go to another platform. Switch the type of content that you're doing. Some of you, you know, get started in like a marketing niche or, you know, a niche and realize months down the road that there's something completely different that you want to be doing. I won't give specifics on that with a conversation I just had with somebody. Okay. But, you know, you could start in something like I started my journey doing faceless digital marketing, and now I am the Facebook marketing guru. I have an Instagram teaching people how to market on Facebook. Like, your purpose and what you're doing in the business world is always evolving. You could learn something 2 years into your business and be like, I'm super into that, and find more success with it and pivot what you're teaching and what you're doing. You know, some days are good, some days are bad. Always stay learning. Keep showing up. Consistency is one of the best things you can ever do for your business. I have my bad days. I don't show up like this every day. I got my good coffee with some espresso. That's why I'm lit up today. But man, I have my periods where I have stuff going on in my personal life and I can only do the bare minimum, and that's okay because I showed up anyways. Have your bare minimum list. Like, I feel like crap today. I'm only doing this, this, and this. But then you don't feel guilty because you did nothing, right? You're like, oh, I still did this though. So it's like a little morale boost. Yeah, guys, I love you all and you can do this. And if anybody needs anything, let me know. Send me a voice note. Have a great day, as we are always going to start ending the lives. You have a successful business. You will make sales today. You will connect and find your people. You will do amazing things today. You are great. And I love you.